Hello. Well, it's June 2020, a very wet but rather a beautiful month, and the third long month of lockdown, which you kind of hopefully is starting to come to an end now. The streets are starting to fill up, the shops, the parks, and the beaches. So let's look at what lessons we can learn. Number one, they learnt in Turkey very quickly: take care of the elderly. Here's my mum: you need to isolate and protect the elderly while the youngsters go back to work. Mum's been very lucky in having wonderful carers over this period. First of all, Lucy, and then Susie here trying on hats as she needs full-time care. So that's worked marvellously well. But at the same time, Mum hasn't got a garden or any outdoor space. So Margaret and I thought we'd take it in turns from our isolated homes to go and see her, get her out on Abbey grounds, to look at the views, to look at the cygnets, to see David. And if she's a very lucky girl, she gets an ice cream. She's 96 on the 1st of July. At her age, it's about quality of life, not just quantity of life. And the second thing, which the Greeks learnt very early on, was personal responsibility. This old boffer here took himself down to Swansea for 13 weeks. Matthew has been very, very responsible, especially when at home because of my connection with Granny. Once he went back to Bristol, off he goes on the Black Lives Matters march, which he can do with other youngsters. Leaving this old boffer here to eat sausages, make videos, and lie pitifully on the floor, groaning with a bad back, which is a bit of like messed things up, that did. But Daniel and I were able to go to barbecues, and we really enjoyed them. They were outside, socially distancing. We're quite careful about everything, and we really enjoyed it. And then Daniel went off to see Princess Jasmine, which was very nice. It's her gain and my loss. Thomas has got a ridiculous haircut. He seems quite happy. And I was left at home to do the gardening. Look at the house opposite, that's for sale. I did meet up with Mel in Oxford, which is idyllic, down the river, absolutely beautiful. And late in the month, she came down to Cheltenham. And if you look at all these photographs, they're all outside, because the Greeks learn you don't just wash your hands and socially distance. If you're with vulnerable people or indoors, you wear one of these. I don't know what the debate was about. It was just common sense that this would stop you spreading it or getting it. So there's some basics there from the Greeks. And then finally, science to the rescue. We use science a lot for things like Zoom talks to the card boys or just football boys. But the science didn't work well pre-lockdown. Public Health England in particular thought they could do it all themselves. They're arrogant and vain, and they fell flat on their face. They'll fall flat on their face again with an app which they think they can do better than Google or Apple. Of course they can't. So we need to get our act together here. And this is my baby brother David, who's a very useful person to have at a barbecue. He's helping show us. Now, what's this got to do, you would have thought, with the virus? Well, this is my other brother, Trev the Rev, Lord of Brimble Uplands and surrounding districts, who just happens to be a professor of immunology at Imperial. Now, what Trevor doesn't do is he doesn't make the actual test itself to see whether or not you've got the virus. Makes the procedure to see if to take the sample, which is a lot better than ramming a big giant cotton bud down your nose, because it's not only is it very accurate, but it's very simple. It can be administered by just about anybody. So you could, for example, do it at an airport before you get through security. You have a sample taken, test result in half an hour, means you're confident that everybody on the planes coming into Britain is virus free. And then finally, what on earth have pigeons got to do with this virus? Well, I think the point is that Cheltenham normally has a big problem with seagulls. And this year it's got no seagulls and lots of pigeons. And we've been having a big problem with this lockdown. But pretty soon we're going to have another problem, which is the economic consequences of lockdown, unemployment that can be very, very tough on the young. And there's even the danger that this virus could come round a second or a third time. So we do need to learn the lessons, because hindsight's a wonderful thing. So from Turkey, we know that we need to look after the elderly and vulnerable and get everybody else back to work, including the schools. From the Greeks, we've learned just to follow the basics, to wear these face masks, especially indoors, to wash your hands, to socially distance. And then from the Germans and the Koreans, we've learned that we must be able to track and trace this virus and stamp down on any outbreaks as quickly as they happen. And if we can do things with my brother, which mean that we know that everybody coming into the country is virus free, then we can get a grip on this and we can get our lovely lives back. because it's been a very surreal 3 months, and I think the next 3 months not going to be very good at all. So that's it. I hope we can learn the lessons. I hope we can get on top of this. I hope you're all staying safer. Sort of been a little bit, we're kind of serious and gloomy, but that's reality, isn't it, of what life has been like. We've had to listen to this virus for all this time. I find the news very hard to listen to, but hopefully things will get better soon. Okay, bye-bye. Look after yourself, and speak to you next month. Bye-bye, bye-bye, bye-bye.